What's up everyone? Welcome back to another video. This right here is the Zwift RIDE frame. I'm going to be going ahead and unboxing this and showing you all a setup of this Zwift RIDE frame and then giving my first impressions on my first ride on the Zwift RIDE. Let's get the box open. Alright, so the Zwift RIDE comes with two boxes here. It's going to come with the Zwift RIDE frame and then also the handlebar here. And they're going to come as two separate boxes, so you'll set them up separately. It's recommended that we start here, so that's what we're going to go ahead and get started with. Now, I'd recommend setting up your trainer that you're going to use for this before setting up the Zwift RIDE. So whether that's Wahoo Kicker Core that you get with the bundle, or something like a Tacx Neo 2T, which I'm going to be using, or something like an Elite Avanti, which you can see in the corner over there. Those are all Zwift ready trainers that will work with the Zwift RIDE frame. Let's go ahead and get the boxes unboxed and get this thing ready to roll. Alright, so getting this box open, you can see here, first off, we have all the instruction manuals, along with the little tool wrench that we have, that little orange thing that you see on the right hand side. But first of all, we'll just go through all those manuals. That's going to be everything you need to know about setting up your Zwift RIDE. They also have online videos that you can watch. Those are also very helpful. So you can see here, I'm just getting out this orange little tool, and that's what you're going to use to adjust everything on the Zwift RIDE. Everything can be customized with that one tool, which is very nice. Moving on, we have the box that contains the pedals along with the riser foot. The riser foot is necessary if you're using something like a Tacx Neo 2T. They have full details on the riser foot in all the articles linked under the Zwift RIDE. Next up, we'll have a Zwift cog, which you'll install on your trainer. And lastly, the through axle. Also in the box are the pedals. Those are just standard flat pedals, but I assume most of you will be using other pedals. And we've also got a charging cord, which you'll use for the Zwift RIDE controllers. Now, after you get all of this cloth off, you'll find that you have the Zwift RIDE handlebars pretty much fully installed. Underneath, you'll have the little sweat tray, which is going to stop the sweat from getting into the Zwift RIDE, and it's also going to give you like a more grippy tray to place your phone on, AirPods, etc. Alright, now time for the big box, which contains the frame, and then we're going to put everything together after I show you all what's in this box. Let's dive into the box. So after you unlatch these little protective things to keep the box intact, you'll just be able to lift up the top of the box, and that'll unveil the Zwift RIDE frame sitting there nicely under the box. Next, you want to get all these little plastic foam things off the Zwift RIDE so that you can get it ready to place on your trainer. Mounting it on your trainer is recommended to start because that'll make things a lot easier when it comes to installing the handlebar and all the other parts that are not yet assembled. And now, once you have this frame ready to go, you can just go ahead and drop that onto your Zwift ready trainer. In this case, I'm using the Tacx Neo 2T, but installation on the Wahoo Kicker Core is virtually the same, just looks a little different with the riser feet. Now the Zwift RIDE just uses a standard through axle that will just go through and connect your frame to the trainer. Once it is all the way screwed in and securely in place, you are ready to go with the other parts of the installation. Now, first thing you're going to do is just drop that part that has the little tablet holder into the trainer, and it'll just sit there nicely until you actually lift it up and adjust it using this little screw on the front next to the Zwift RIDE emblem. You'll want to adjust it to the right height according to the height card, and I'm pretty much adjusting these all to the same height, corresponding to my height, 5'8". As I'm setting up the Zwift RIDE, I'm using this little bike fit guide that they're having. I don't know how accurate this is going to be for me, but I know a lot of people have had a lot of luck with this. So I'm setting it to 5'7"ish, 5'8", which is around my height. And then it has those letters corresponding. So I'm going to be setting everything to height J. So it's going to have the saddle at height J, the bars at height J, which you just saw me do, and then the reach at height J. Let's go ahead and keep on adjusting this and getting everything installed. We're pretty close to getting it done. You can see here we've got this little handlebar piece added on now. We just have to add the handlebar onto this, and then some pedals, and then we're pretty much good to go. So here I'm just loosening the screw underneath the tablet holder so that I can go ahead and install the actual handlebar part of the stem, and that will just get things really close to being finalized. It'll take a little bit of wiggling to get it out, but once it's out, you can go ahead and just slide the Zwift RIDE handlebar in there pretty easily and just scooch it to the letter that corresponds to your height. Now once you find the right height, just go ahead and screw that in, and that will have your handlebar pretty much fully set up. You can just slide the sweat tray on and you are good to go with the handlebar. Alright, so for pedals, I'm going to be using these Look Keo pedals, which are not the ones that are included, but some other ones that I have purchased outside of this, and that's going to allow me to use my clip-in pedals on this Zwift RIDE frame. So the installation is pretty much the same no matter what pedal you use, so just keep that in mind when you're watching this video. Let's go ahead and get this installed with the frame key. Pedal installation on the Zwift RIDE was very straightforward. It actually told you which direction you got to turn it. In this case, I actually had to use a different Allen wrench because of the size of the pedals. Now, lastly here, we're just going to adjust the seat height, which can be done through that little back section. It might take a little wiggling to get the seat post loose, but once you got it loose, just adjust it to the height you want it at, and go ahead and tighten it back up. Now, one of the last things you're going to do is release the chain tension, throw the chain on the Zwift cog, and then increase the tension again using that little orange lever on the right hand side of the screen. Now that's really all you got to do with the Zwift RIDE installation and setup, and then you can just go ahead and throw that frame key onto the frame. Alright, I've just finished assembling the Zwift RIDE, and that was a pretty easy and quick setup. So I'm gonna go ahead and throw some cycling shoes on, get clipped in, and try this out, and we'll see how it rides. Alright, so some very initial impressions of the Zwift RIDE. This thing is so incredibly quiet. I honestly thought it would be like a similar volume to a normal bike, but I'm finding this to actually be really quiet, and there's a little bit of a slight vibration coming from the ride, but other than that, the rest is all pretty much from the Neo 2T, which even then is a really quiet hum at the loudest. So I'm gonna get like a little close-up of that so you all can hear what that sounds like, and then I'm gonna compare it to an actual bike with a real cassette, real chain, and everything like that. I'll also show you what a kicker bike sounds like. So for those of you who are trying to compare like buying this versus a Wahoo kicker bike, I'll share a little audio sample of that too in this video. Alright, just finished up my first ride with the Zwift RIDE. No better way to test this than with a Zwift race. We did stage 1 of the kick and sprint, and pretty brutal race. I ended up taking the win by like 0.06 seconds. Hopefully enough to get me to the next category, but this held up really well. And there's a few things I noticed that were like really surprised me. I didn't have insane expectations coming into this review, but the noise level on this is just incredible. There's pretty much no noise other than the trainer noise. So if you have a quiet trainer, this is gonna be basically silent setup. Also, we've got this really nice sprint button down here. And this helps when you're like sprinting in the drops, you can just click that and you can easily turn on your power up. It made things a lot easier. Might have even made the difference to get that win for me. But everything about this bike is just really well designed. Super easy to take the bottle out of the cage and everything like that. So overall, for my initial impressions, I'm really impressed with this trainer. And you can expect to see a full in-depth review in probably about a month or two, where I'll go deep dive into power accuracy and some more use after I've done probably a couple 100 miles by then. And we'll see how this thing holds up. So far, so good. If you enjoyed this video or found it useful, please like, subscribe, and with that, thank you all for watching, and see you on the next one. Ride on.